there everyone, Jeff here. Welcome back to Imagination Tech. So last time we sent out a Beta FPV Light Radio 2 to JD because he wanted to start FPV but didn't have the means. He wasn't even in college, didn't have a job. They didn't come from a very particularly well-off family or neighborhood even. So he wanted to get into FPV and we helped him get into that with a simulator and a transmitter. So right now I'm going to show you what happened next. Stay tuned. JD has been practicing a lot on the simulator with this Beta FPV Light Radio 2, and I want to show you some of the flights that he's made with that simulator. So that's been going great for a while, but the gimbals on the Beta FPV Light Radio 2 started acting up. So I contacted Beta FPV about this because this was a known problem with these radios. But thankfully they agreed to send out a replacement gimbal, and yeah, so that's a really great thing. Really great support from Beta FPV. Now, I do believe that JD is quite ready to fly in the real world. Okay, so right now we're going to be building JD's whoop, which is going to be a 65mm brushless whoop. And I've gotten some parts from my old pile of spare parts from donations like this one. This is a Toothpick 122S flight controller, Beta FPV flight controller from Francis from Kiko. So thank you. Someone was supposed to be donating, a whoop as well, but sometimes things just don't pan out, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, you can go, you just give whatever you can at that particular moment, and if you can't, then that's also fine as well. So I got this from Jay Lagare. This is a frame for a Mobile 6, which is what we're going to be using as our main frame. I also found this. This is an FPV camera and VTX that I found in my spare parts. So I know it's working, but even if this isn't working, I have a couple of more spare VTXs here, old VTXs. So we'll see which one works and which one doesn't. For our motors, we're going to be using the motors from my old Mobile 6. I was going to replace the frame anyway because this frame is already banged up, it's broken. So I was going to remove everything anyway. So I might as well give away these motors for now, and just get some replacement motors down the line if I find one, or maybe I'll just order one. But for now, these are perfectly good motors. Just I haven't had that much flight time on this Mobile 6. It's just pretty banged up because of all of the iGow challenges that I had to put this through. But the motors are in really good condition, so this is what we're going to be using. We still need a lot of other stuff like extra batteries. Probably going to give him a 1S charger, but yeah, if you have some stuff that you can give, 1103, 1104 motors for when we move up to 2S, that would be great. Just send me propose a comment or send me a message and let's talk. Right, so right now let's go ahead and build this 65mm whoop. For those of you who are watching who have never built a whoop before, regardless if it's brushed or brushless, this is the simplest thing that you can make that will fly. So first you get your frame, and then you would need some gummies like this. These are like rubber gummies, rubber grommets that you would put here on these 4 mounting posts. So you just slide it over there. Now, gummies are something that you would want to buy. I mean, if it didn't come with your frame kit or your canopy or your flight controller, then these are some things that you want to buy before you start building, because they are so cheap, and yet they're cheap, and yet if you're just gonna order gummies because you need some gummies, you are going to waste money in terms of shipping fees, and also that's not good for the environment because of they have to transport everything and stuff. For these tiny little gummies. So oops. Okay, so these gummies were from my old Tiny Hawk Freestyle, the original Tiny Hawk Freestyle, and I'm just going to reuse them here because I've ran out of gummies, so I also need to, you know, get some the next time that I go buy some stuff from parts from some other stores. And you just need to squeeze in your flight controller, which has these notches at the corners. I'm not sure if you can see that. Yep, these notches in the corners. You just slide them. You might need to bend your frame a little bit if you're finding it difficult to bend and squeeze the flight controller onto the gummies. Another method would be to just, you know, slot those gummies in to the flight controller beforehand, being careful that they don't, you know, jump out or pop out, because it's going to be hard to look for these gummies when they fall to the floor. And then just slide them all onto those posts. So I usually do the first method, but sometimes it just won't go in. So, you know, if one method doesn't work for you, then try the other one. Now we have our flight controller in our gummies in our frame. So we're just screwing in the motors and tightening them. Make sure it's tight so that they don't fall out, you know, while you're in the middle of flying. So we have one motor screwed in, and we just need to repeat that for the rest of the three motors. I do recommend that you build your own whoops to learn, you know, how all of these parts come together. But there is also a benefit in seeing other people's work, whether you're looking at a pre-built quad that you bought off the store, like a Mobile S6, or you know, looking at the build of someone more experienced in this hobby. When I first started building, I didn't have a reference point, so I was just you know, winging it. And when I first saw another person's quad, I thought, wow, this other quad looks so much better than the one that I built. And I learned a lot of stuff from looking at other people's builds, how they do things, how they make, you know, how they do their wire or cable management and stuff. So yeah, so a lot of these Whoop flight controllers already come with the receiver built in, but in this case we have to install an external receiver like this, and we need to solder that onto our flight controller before we install this onto our Whoop frame, because we don't want to accidentally melt our frame, because this is very hot and it's a very tiny space. So instead I'm going to solder this right now before I put this into our Whoop frame. Or in my case, I actually had to remove it from the Whoop frame because I forgot to install the receiver. Alright, so we've soldered on our receiver onto our flight controller, and I'm just going to twist this receiver so that the wires are twisted and it's very secure. So now let's put this onto our frame, or back onto our frame. So we've soldered our camera and our VTX to our flight controller, and I've already powered this on. Everything's lighting up, everything is turning on, and I've also been able to check that the camera and the OSD are displaying correctly on the screen. So now we'll just tidy this up, mount everything up so that they're not just hanging off. So now we have our 65mm Whoop. We just zip tied the VTX to the back. It's not very pretty, but you know, it's a Frankenstein of old parts, so you really can't complain. Now we just need to plug this into Betaflight and configure all of this, ready for packing. So if you're interested in getting started with FPV, you can get started with the Whoop, and this costs around maybe 3,000 to 4,000 pesos. That's if you're buying all of these parts brand new. But you can also get already a Whoop set, which has the Whoop and a couple of batteries for about the same price. We also got JD a transmitter worth 2,000 pesos. Someone also donated a pair of goggles to him, which is really great. That the cost of that was around $35, $40. It's cheap goggles, but it's good goggles. All in all, that's the bare minimum you probably need to get started. So that all in all, that's going to be around how much? 6,000, 7,000 pesos bare minimum. But there are kits that you can buy for at varying price points. So I'm just going to put some links down in the description on what I recommend for you guys to get. Right, so you might notice that this swoop is a little bit different from the one we built, and the one we built was a little over a month ago. This swoop has gone through 4 different flight controllers and different parts. So initially I intended to put the Beta FPV 1-2S toothpick board on that, but there was a problem on one of the UARTs, and I didn't want to send out something that, a board that might potentially have some problems down the line. I got this swoop from Benta FPV, John Alsona, but he did tell me that this was a used swoop and he hadn't tested it if it was still working. It was greatly discounted and I got really good parts from it, but one of the ESCs was broken, so I had to replace that board with an F4. And the seller sent me something that also had the same ESC broken. So I sent that back, and eventually I got a brand new Crazy Bee F4 Lite, the same board as in the Mobile S6, and I used my own camera for this one. The one that John Alsona sent did have a camera, but I accidentally plugged it into something like 9 volts or something, so I burned that. It was completely my fault. So finally I have one working whoop, and this is what we're going to be sending to JD. So let's go ahead and pack this up. First, let's go ahead and put in some stickers. These are from Makerfire. That's going into the box, as well as this sticker from Beta FPV. I also have a shirt like this. You've seen that shirt in the beginning of this video. It's a very cool sticker from Beta FPV, Benta FPV, John Alsona actually. Kebab FPV sticker, some Emax stickers as well, Ummagawd sticker as well. Micro Heli sticker, JC FPV. Last but not least, we have an FPV Freestyle Quad PH sticker. Power supply. This is an old laptop power supply, and this was donated by Tolitz. And this is a UPS 6, Ultra Power UPS 6 1S charger. So this is the one that I've used for the longest time. One port is not working, but the rest can supply up to 1 amp each. This one came from Beta FPV headquarters. This is a replacement gimbals for the Beta FPV Lite Radio 2, and they sent this for free. So thank you very much, Beta FPV. This is from my TinyHawk S. And this is going to be the perfect case for the 65mm whoop. And we'll just put in an extra 1S charger as well as a prop tool. Also some spare props. This was also from John Alsona. Came with this purple frame and purple mount and everything. By the way, we'll probably throw in some of my old GNB batteries. These originally came from Kaiju Power. So let's just throw in some batteries in there. Let's just put this in the pocket. We're also throwing this Emax RS2205 2300 kV motor. This is a classic motor. Still have one in my in my parts bin. And this is brand new. Actually, I haven't used that because he is actually also building a plane. And since he's building a plane, we're going to send him these micro servos for the elevators, elevons, or whatever that is, and also this old FreeSky D4R receiver, which is perfect because he will need a receiver that has PWM output. Okay, now that we're all packed up, we just need to book this with a courier and just wait for the courier to pick this box up. So the whoop, the chargers, and all of the goodies from all of the different people have all been packed up, and it's going to be picked up tomorrow by GoGo Express. Hopefully JD is going to get that package soon and get up in the air. So before I end this video, I'd like to thank everyone that made this possible. I'm just going to overlay all of your names up here on the video because there have been a lot of people who helped out in creating this package for JD. So again, thank you from the both of us, and God bless you more. So I'm going to end this video here, and if you like this video, please click on the like button and make sure you're subscribed, and as always, keep building and keep flying.